Monsignor Michael Nazir-Ali, joy to talk to you. It really is. And of course, you were formerly Bishop, Michael, in the Anglican Church. You have, of course, moved across to the Catholic Church. One of the reasons for doing that is the whole issue of marriage and the doctrine and the teaching around marriage. But we're here today to talk about a conference that you're organising on the 20th of September. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what it is and why you're organising it?
Yes, I think a number of people felt, Tony, that the Westminster Declaration of 2010 needed revisiting because there are new issues. I mean, you've alluded to the changes in the law of marriage in this country, for instance, very significant even over the centuries, that kind of change in the law. There's pressure now on questions about assisted suicide and changes in attitudes to abortion, new technologies now involving mass destruction of embryos sometimes. So there are issues that have arisen or are more pressing since 2010. And so we felt that a new declaration would be appropriate, or a renewed declaration would be appropriate at this time. That's the main reason.
And this is a declaration on behalf of, it's not just the Catholic Church, it's a wide group of Christians from all different backgrounds who are coming together and saying, well, actually, we think we need to stand up for these matters in society. So it's is ecumenical the word to use?
Yes, you can use the word. I mean, I am increasingly struck by the fact that so many Christians from such widely different backgrounds come to the same conclusions about the human condition, about human society. And this must have something to do with an underlying common faith. I've not quite worked this out in my mind yet. Of course, there are other people also claiming to be Christian who are coming to very different conclusions. And that then has implications for how much we share the faith with them.
Now, as far as I can, from reading a draft of the declaration, as far as I can tell, it's not something which is restricted only to Christians neither, because actually there are a lot of people who look at the Christian framework for society, including around marriage. And this is not to say that other things don't take place in a liberal democracy, but promoting the lifelong exclusive union between one man and one woman, which is my beef, if you like. There's a lot of people, we have a lot of supporters who aren't from a faith background, but also think that's the best way to run society, is to recognise the value of that and promote that. So I would say, would I be right in assuming that the conference is not restricted by any means to Christians, but actually anybody who's interested in the Christian ethic and fabric framework, if you like, on which to build a sensible, structured society?
Anyone is welcome, of course, but our values that are found in the draft declarations are based on Christian assumptions. Of course, anyone who comes will have to recognize that. I personally, I don't think you can separate values from the beliefs that give rise to them. But if people feel something is good, and indeed all the research shows that the marriage of a man and a woman and the children that result from it, that this is good for the spouses themselves, it is good for the children, and of course it is good for society. There is no questioning about that.
And it's great to have the church pushing back a little bit, because we hear the opposite these days. And not only that, you've got an event. The event is in London, central London. It's only £10 if anybody wants to turn up. I think you might even get a free cup of tea with that. And the booking is, I think it's on Eventbrite. We can put the website up. I think the website for the conference is 2025 westminsterdeclaration.org, and we'll pop that up. And hopefully people will listen, people will attend, and recognise that great opportunity for the church, and also those who believe in the framework, as we've mentioned, and whether or not that's separated from faith. It's a very, very interesting discussion for them to take part. Now, before you go, and you might want to tell us a little bit more about marriage is definitely part of the declaration. You've mentioned assisted suicide and the sanctity of life. Anything else in there that might attract people to attend and take part?
Well, yes, there is, or there are things. I mean, there's also this question about education and what is happening to children and the role of parents uh, with regard to the education of their children. That I think will be quite important. Questions about end of life care, which is not just assisted suicide, but how people are treated towards the end of their lives, and the particular importance of not withdrawing hydration and nutrition from anyone. Um, we're going to discuss some questions that are arising from new technologies like AI, and what is good about them, and what we shouldn't think about them. For instance, that they don't replace people, um, and that although they can help us in our lives a great deal, they cannot empathize, they cannot make relationships, they cannot be compassionate, all of those things, these technologies like AI. So there's that, and we've got an expert leading us on that.
You've got
Yeah,
freedom of religion. You've got things like the
yes,
abortion
conscience.
debate. So some very, very big issues that people might want to come and talk over and talk about.
Indeed.
And there will be breakout, as I understand it, looking at the program, there will be breakout sessions
Yes.
for people to go and talk in more detail and meet other people and go over these issues, if you like, and ask their own questions and get answers.
That's
from
right,
experts in
and
the
you're
field.
leading one of them on
Well,
marriage
yeah,
and family.
I'm
so-
going to come and give a little talk on marriage along with Dr. Julie Maxwell, of course,
Yes.
and happy to do that. So there is that warm invite to everybody. All of the hot button issues, gender, everything is all part of the discussion, and actually we're painting the what we would see as or what's been called the traditional Christian view, or what some of us might call the Christian view of these things, and the good in society for them. So that's brilliant. Well done for organising it. I couldn't let you go without asking you a quick question. The new Pope, who has made a great stand for marriage in his short time so far, met with Father James Martin on Monday, who's a very leading US campaigner for LGBT within the church. Is that an indication of a change on the Pope's stance?
I don't think so. I mean, popes and indeed all Christian leaders should be open to meeting people of many different views. I mean, atheists, for example. And Pope Benedict conducted a long-standing dialogue with some atheists in Germany. So meeting somebody is not necessarily to endorse their view. The teaching of the Catholic Church about marriage and about sexual identity is quite clear, and there is no possibility of that changing.
Yep, great. Listen, Monsignor Dr Michael Nazir-Ali, it's so good to talk to you. If anybody wants to come and talk to you and meet you and hear you and see you in the flesh, London, Central London, September the 20th, £10 a piece. We'll put the websites up and leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you. Thank you. See you there.